Welcome back to Rubbin Minds. I'm Isabella Akinshare. Ebuka Obiochendu is not available today. He's unavoidably absent, so I'll be filling in for him today. Before the break, I mentioned that we will be discussing about something very important to women, and not just to women, to everybody, because let's face it, when something affects a woman, it affects the whole community. It affects the whole society. I'm going to be talking about cancer, and not breast cancer, which is very popular. Everybody knows about breast cancer, but cervical cancer, and that's the cancer arising from the cervix. And it's a case where cells multiply, they begin to increase and spread all over the body. And the worst thing with cervical cancer is that at first you don't see any symptoms at all, nothing. So you think, oh, you're okay, you're all right. You might even have met people who have survived cervical cancer, but you didn't know because they didn't show any symptoms. Then gradually we begin to see the symptoms, we begin to see the pain, bleeding after sex, and it's painful. And the funny thing is that if it is not detected on time, just like any cancer, you could lose a life. And that's really sad. I have with me Tewa Onosanya. She is the founder of Exquisite Cancer Foundation. Welcome to Rubbin Minds.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, this is something that you're passionate about, right?
Yes, I am quite passionate about it, and you've said it all, actually.
I have.
Listening to you, I'm just thinking, oh, she said everything. Yes, I am quite passionate about it. I'm from a background where as long as you're sexually active, when you get to that point in your life, the doctors or the GPs send you letters or invite you to come in for a pap smear. And in the beginning, I didn't quite understand it because obviously I was young. I hadn't, I wasn't sexually active or anything, but I used to wonder, what is, pap smear? What is it about? And then I found out that it's for cervical cancer. And I was like, okay, all well and good. So what they did then in England was that even till now is always call you in for a screening all the time. And then I moved back to Nigeria and realized that a few people I spoke to didn't even know about cervical cancer.
But they knew about breast cancer.
Some knew about breast cancer, and I'm saying didn't. Some didn't, because, it's still, I'm talking about about 7 years ago, give or take, almost 7 years ago. So a lot of people, you know how we are with our culture that, oh, God forbid, it will never happen to me. So a lot of people
don't, something happens in the
West. A lot
West.
of people don't think about breast cancer that way. And then cervical cancer is even worse. People don't even know anything about it. And I'm just like, especially my friends that have had children. And I'm like, so have you had a screening done? It's like, no. I'm like, God, even when you're, just after you've had your baby, they check your cervix to see if anything's abnormal, anything. But I just thought, okay, this is wrong. This is not right. And then with research and, going through the WHO details, it's 1 woman every hour in Nigeria that dies of cervical cancer.
1 woman
every hour. I wanted to pass out. I'm like, really? I mean, breast cancer is 1 woman every minute, but 1 woman every hour for a cancer that is 100% preventable is unbelievable. And how do you prevent cervical cancer? It's by regular screening.
And with breast cancer, they will tell you how to examine yourself. And you can see, okay, I discovered a lump, I went to the doctor. Some people discover the lump and they don't go to the doctor. But with cervical cancer, you can't really examine your cervix.
You can't examine yourself because it's in your cervix. It's in there. So you can't really examine yourself. That's why you need to be screened. That's why you need to go to a doctor, go to a gynecologist, and let them screen you and check your cervix.
So you're saying anyone that is sexually active?
Anyone that's sexually active needs to go for cervical cancer screening.
How often?
Reason being, well, first of all, how often? How often? It depends on the test that's been done on them. If it's a pap smear, you have to go every 3 years. And pap smear is the nurse or the doctor physically going into the vajayjay.
Okay, into the vagina.
Daytime TV. Going in there, taking some swab of the cells in the cervix, then taking it to the lab to observe it, to see if the abdominal cells growing or not. And there's another test where there's a liquid iodine that can be squirted into the cervix, and then to see the changes within the cervix, if it's if it's red or if it's white, if it has a different color to the normal nice and pink cervix. not that I've seen that many cervix, but the normal cervix is supposed to be nice and pink.
Okay.
You know, so if the color is different, then they think that the person might have abnormal cells growing, and then refer that person for further tests. If you're doing that kind of that kind of screening, you have to go every year. Every year. And if you're doing the pap smear, you have to go every 3 years. One big thing about cervical cancer that, you know, I'm so kind of angry about is because it's 100% preventable.
So you can actually take a vaccination for it.
And guess what? It's one of the few cancers that has a pre-cancer stage.
Really?
Yes.
So you can detect it early enough
even before it becomes cancer. So that means that if you're screened regularly and doctors see that you have a precancerous stage, they can, you know, the abnormal cells grow, they can treat you. And you never have to have cervical cancer, never have to have it. All you have to do is just go for your regular screening so the cells don't keep coming back or something worse doesn't happen. It's 100% preventable. Women should be running to the gynecologist, should be going to the doctors to get themselves. I mean, that's one less cancer we have to worry about.
And I think the question everybody will be asking is, how much do these screenings cost? And if you do have this cancer, like, are you going to have to sell all your property or give away all your savings to treat it?
You know, cancer is cancer. I mean, it depends on what stage the cancer has gotten to. If it's gotten to a point where you would need, you know, not real, because every chemotherapy is real, but if you would need intense treatment, then obviously you would need to sell stuff, or you would need to use, you know, God help you if you have savings, have to put money aside to be able to do that. But instead of worrying about how much it's going to cost to treat cancer, why not think of how much it's going to cost to get screened and, you know, avoid it.
Yes.
Yeah, avoid it. And to get screened is not even that expensive. It depends on which test you do. And since it's a yearly thing or a 3-yearly thing, you can save up for it. I mean, really and truly, the VIO treatment, which I mentioned earlier, but squatting something into the, that's about 3,000 naira, or even
only 3,000
or even less.
naira.
Yeah, to save your life. And the pap smear, some do it 9,000, some do it 12,000. So
and
it depends on where you go to. And that one is for 3 years. So really and truly, it's not just all about looking good on the outside, wearing nice clothes and wearing makeup and all the, you know, whatnot, buying shoes in case in my case, and things like that. It's about taking care of yourself internally as well, because it's cheaper.
Yes.
You know, for you to look after,
to look after
yourself to prevent it. And like you said earlier, cervical cancer doesn't have symptoms that you can see there and there. Like, you know, if there's a lump on your boob or anything like that. It's when things start getting to the bad stage, like being uncomfortable when you have sexual relations, or, you know, bleeding in between your period. That means it's getting to a point where it could potentially be cancer. So instead of getting to that point, why not just go for your regular screening?